All right, so my presentation, my mini techno is on language smart editing with Neovim. Do you guys all know what Neovim is?
Yeah.
Yes, good. Anyone who doesn't know Neovim? So it's a fork of Vim that also adds Lua for configuration, as well as a language server protocol client. Meaning, like, do you guys know what language servers are? So it's like it's another application that gives you the smart code analysis and all the nice completions and all the documentation in your editor. But it allows you to kind of like have that one per languages instead of like re-implement it for every editor. So the fact that Neovim supports an LSP client means that we can take advantage of all those language servers. Yeah, so Neovim's great. It only takes 1 to 3 languages to configure it. I've only got 2, so don't feel bad, but it's Vim script Lua in Scheme, if you're wondering. And yeah, all right. And of course, my presentation is inside Neovim, so we can have like a live demonstration. This is a very minimal config. The only plugins I have are for the pretty colors. So because I really wanted the pretty colors. So what do people expect of their IDE? Like the LSP integration, all those nice features. So I kind of made a big list of all the things that I think people expect of their editor. I'd love to hear if anyone has any other things that they want of their editor that you think Neovim doesn't provide. Integrated browser. Hey, there's what is it? Links? You can use links. Fair enough. Do you use the integrated browser here? All right. Fair enough. But so what I want to show. So I'm gonna go through kind of like 3 iterations. Yeah. Yes, it has mouse support. You can copy and paste, with right click and everything. There you go. Let's see. Wait. Yeah, there you go. Also mandatory in the how to disable the mouse. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna go through like a couple iterations showing you what features are available in Neovim with no config, what features are available with a little config, and what features you get with like full config and plugins and everything. So here you see this is the Neovim features out the box, no config. Kind of about 60% of the previous lists. We lost a couple. Neovim features with config but no plugins. Practically everything's back in. Only missing AI integration and source code control integration. And then Neovim features with plugins. It's everything. It's got everything. All right. So I want to kind of dive into some of the. So most of the time I'm going to be showing you what's capable, not trying to teach you what's capable, so that you go and learn by yourselves out of interest. So a lot of people, they will love their file tree. They want their file tree. Neovim and Vim have a built-in file tree. It's called netrw. And so I'm just hovering over this file path. I press GF to go to this file. It's a folder. So I have the file tree. Well, technically not a tree because it's flat and you have to go into all of the other ones. Ooh, what the hell is that? Ignore this. So you have your file tree, and you can also do L-explore, open it to the left like how people typically want. But I personally don't use a file tree because the terminal is a file explorer, in my opinion. But anyways, yeah. But Neovim and Vim both have great file navigation features readily available. Like I hovered over a directory, I press GF, or a file, I press GF, I'm able to go to that file immediately. Works out of the box. It's very, very nice and convenient. I want to, in a browser you got your forward and back arrows. The equivalent of that in Neovim is Control-O and Control-I. Probably my most pressed keys ever. I'm like jumping back and forth. You feel so fast. You feel so efficient going back and forth between everything. Yeah, and GX, very useful. Currently, I have my setup inside Docker, so it's not gonna work. But if I just hover over this path and press GX, that will XDG open whatever's under my cursor. So if that's a URL, if that's like another so any URI and any scheme, it will open it however you want. So if this wasn't in Docker, I would press GX and this will open it in a browser. I love that. Very convenient. I don't have to, you know, hover over and control click. It's the equivalent of that, you know? And remote file editing. Built into Neovim by default. Built into Neovim by default. You just gotta specify a URI instead of a file path, and boom, you're editing a remote file. Built into Vim as well. And if you're already inside Neovim, you can just edit with the URI, and it'll do that. Again, inside Docker, so I'm not really, didn't want to set up Docker networking to get everything all nice. But yeah, so some of the built-in features I want to try to explain. Go to definition, declaration, references, regex searching, completion, formatting, folding, linting, diagnostics. I'm gonna go through a bit of that using run QEMU. Do you guys know what run QEMU is? It's a Python script in Pokey in the Yocto source code. That it's a Python script that just kind of runs your newly built image inside QEMU. But it's kind of like a self-contained application. So I go inside that application by pressing GF, and okay, I want to okay, pretend we don't see where the main is right now. I want to go to the definition of the main function. Here, let's I go to definition, press GD, jumps to definition, Control O back, Control I back, whatever. So you've already got like language smart jumping to definition as well as jumping to references. There's yeah.
Can you do a jump if the function is defined in another file?
See, all right, you already got me. I've been cheating. So it's a self-contained script. If the go to definition isn't necessarily language smart, it's just searching like above. So if you want that, you're leading into my next point. So if you want that, you can get that functionality with your language server, but you can also get that with grep and some of the built-in like tools for regex searching inside Neovim. Let me just look at my notes again a little bit. Yeah, perfect. You led right into it. Thank you. All right. So if a function was defined elsewhere, like I could run the command vim, short for vim grep. It's practically just grep. I want to find all the instances of config, and then I specify all the places. I'm going to do this file. The %sign this file. I guess it's kind of hard to see for you guys all at the bottom, but so I'm just gonna kind of grep for this. If I wanted to do it in other files, I could just do an asterisk instead to like glob and get all those files. And now what this did is Neovim made a list of all of the locations that this config, this regex I searched for is. So now I can use a bunch of standard commands like cnext to keep iterating through cnext. Oh, sorry, cnext. To keep iterating through like all the places where this regex appears, and if I want if I want to actually see the list, I can see open to open that list, and it's not very nice because it's so zoomed in at the moment. But yeah, we got the list of all the locations of that regex. So that's one way you could use go to references within Neovim without any configuration. Okay, I'm going to jump back to my presentation. All right, and then completion. Completion, believe it or not, like Neovim's completion is just incredible. I love it. It's so like if you're in insert mode, so like the mode where you're typing and wanting some text to get completed, you can hit Control N, and that's going to automatically assume you just want to complete words that appear in this file. So I can just hit Control N and Control P to iterate over this list. And like there's fine-grained commands for like selecting or not selecting and so on and so forth. But there's also like fine-grained controls for if I want to explicitly complete a file path, I can hit Control X, Control F, and now it's all the files in my current working directory. And I can use Control P, Control N. And when we get to language smart functionality, there's all like language feature configuration. There's also another completion that asks your language server to complete it, but we're not there yet. Yeah, perfect. And so if you want to research more about that, you can see help ins completion for insert mode completion. Yeah, and formatting. There's Neovim just has fine-grained control for everything you want to do. You want to format. You can say this line isn't properly. All these aren't properly aligned. I can just automatically. Okay, I didn't do it that nice. Never mind. No. Okay. Whatever. There we go. And say I want to format this all as like a paragraph. I can just immediately do that. If it was like a paragraph of words, it will obviously make a lot more sense. If I want to change it all to uppercase, I can change it all to uppercase. If I want to change it all to lowercase, I can change it all to lowercase. You just have this fine-grained control. It's so nice. And if I want it all left aligned, I can go left. If I want it all right aligned, I can go right. If I want it all centered, all down the center, I can center it. Just like I'm saying, there's all this fine-grained control in Neovim that lets you do exactly what you want with your editor, you know? And okay, for folding, Neovim's got incredible folding. But first, you need to tell Neovim how you want to fold. So we're in Python. I want to fold on indenting. So I'm going to set my fold method to indenting. And now I can use all the fine-grained controls for folding in Neovim, like I can in Vim as well. I can collapse all of them recursively for the whole file. I can open them one layer at a time for the whole file. I can recursively open only the ones under the cursor, recursively close all the ones under the cursor, so on and so forth. It's very nice having this fine-grained control. All right. Yeah. And now linting and diagnostics. There's like this kind of, I don't want to call it a framework. It's kind of, there's just some commands in Neovim and Vim that allow you to kind of choose like an external program to use for like your compiler or your linter or your formatter. And so here I'll show you how it works for a Python application. I'm just going to so I want to the linter I want to use, or the compiler. It's technically a linter. I want to use is called rough. It's have you guys heard of rough? It's like it's just a Python linter. Ah, come on, compiler rough. Oh, first off, well, here you can see all of the linter, like all the compilers that are supported by Neovim. So you can see there's like a bunch of stuff for like test suites for linting, for formatting, for etc., so on. So I'm gonna choose to use rough because that's the one I was just talking about. And so I want to lint this specific file. So after I had chosen the compiler, now make is it's not actually make. It's gonna default to the compiler I just selected, which is rough. So I'm going to run rough on this file, the current file I'm editing. And now, in the same way with vim grep and grep and did I already show another one? I don't know. In the same way, it generated a list. Now this linter just generated like another list of all the places, of all the recommendations, of all the lints that it wants to do. Here we can see the one under the cursor with :cc. Here, comparison to none should be condition is not none instead of that. And the same way I could jump through all the references that I had searched with vimgrep, I can go cnext and keep going through the list of lints. And again, if I want to open this list of lints, I can do copen. And here, this is all the locations of all that. So in my mind, this is very language smart diagnostics that you already have without any configuration. All right. So yeah. Okay. So I feel like I properly covered a lot of those. Is there anything anyone wants to ask about that or contest me on whether or not that technically is linting and diagnostics? Yeah. Hey, we're getting there. Don't worry. All right. But first, I want to do text replace to show text replace. You guys all know. I'm assuming you all know sed, the sed command that we use for like doing text replace. Well, like you know how sed has expressions? Those same expressions exist inside Neovim. So I'm sure you've all seen the standard $%s/regex/regex flags, etc., etc. But here I'll show instead of just talking, I'll show buffer previous. Okay, so I want to replace every instance of the word main with main2 because I like that better. Main with main2 global, but you get to use the power of regex as well. So say we have I have this create logger. Oh, create logger, is it not here? Anyways, so I have this class script error. Say I want it to be error script in all the places it's used. Oh, jeez. I can again use these incredible regex, but I want it to be very magical. So I have to specify that I want to use a lot of magic right now. And then what was it? What was the one I want to do? Thank you. Script error. Okay, perfect. So I want to make it error script. So now I can. Can you guys see fairly well at the bottom? Maybe not. So I'm using regex capture groups to capture script, capture error, and now I can use like dereference these capture groups how I want. So now I'm just going to reorganize them, and now I can globally apply that in this file. And now every instance of script error is now called error script. Very nice. I love it. Okay, integrated terminal, one of my favorite features. I'm using it constantly, all day, every day. It's incredible. Let me just first see where I am. Okay. Also, another extremely useful feature of Vim, and well, I think, yeah, both, is I'm able to highlight Vim script or Lua and like just execute it. Just like run that code. So here, these are some Vim script commands. And I'm just going to, it's just changing into the directory, choosing bash, and running a terminal. So I'm going to source that code and run it. And now you can see I'm in the source code of htop. And this is the application we're going to show you how to debug. I was going to dive in a bit about how you could use make to also find all the error. Like if you're going into an application. Actually, yeah, I will show it here. But for one, so just to show how incredible the build system integration is, I'm going to start compiling htop, and just going to jump back here to make sure my notes are all good. Have you guys been having trouble seeing the screen or anything? Has it been good or no? Okay. Please speak up if anything's not how you want. Okay. So I'm back in my terminal. I just ran those commands. This built. I want to just find a specific file to mess around with. I can go to file. Very nice. And now, so in this file, I can run. I can just confirm that my compiler is indeed make, and now I can run make. So I wrote the first two parts, and now I'm running make. Now I just compiled from within Neovim, and now to get some kind of like again language smart linting and diagnostics here. Let me just mess with this file a little bit, get some errors. I don't think that would be an error. That would be an error. And now, so I write the file and I'll run make again. And in the same way that the linter created a list of all these places that you wanted to apply lints, the compiler made a list of all the errors. So now, in the exact same way, I've been going through all these references, all these errors, all these linting. I can do the same. So now, And it was nice. The make command knew I wanted to be at the very first one at the beginning, so it immediately placed me on here where this is not correctly spelled. Here, unknown type command line status. Did you mean command line status? Pretty cool in my opinion. And oh, let me just actually redo that. And again, I can go iterate through all of these, and I can see the list of them with C open, and yeah, C next, C previous, etc., etc. Okay. So I'm going to undo all of those, and I'm going to write and make again. And now, so again, none of this has been, the only configuration has been the pretty colors. Remember that. All right. So now I'm going to show you the built-in debugging functionality in Vim and Neovim. This is, if you already have Vim installed, this will work on your computer. So I'm going to pack add term debug. That's the name of the package that provides it. But that package is distributed with practically every distribution of Vim and Neovim. So I already have it loaded. And now I can run term debug, and htop is the name of the executable. I run it, so what it did is it made two terminal windows, one for GDB, so I have a GDB prompt, and the other one is the debug E, the application that's getting debugged. Now I can, I'm just gonna, okay, now I can go into GDB, I'll press set a breakpoint at main, and start, and run it. And as you can see, the bottom window opened up as the source code, and it highlights the line you're currently on. And as I'm stepping through the highlightings, so nice and going through. I know I've already showed this to a couple people, but it's just so incredible. And so this works with GDB, but you could also, so anything you can debug with GDB, you could debug with this. So you could also like tell it which GDB to use. So you could do remote debugging. You could also do like Rust debugging by passing it to what's it called? GDB. Is it Rust GDB or GDB Rust? I don't know. Anyways, so super cool, and I can run continue. And as you can see, htop is running in that debug E window. I think that's incredible. Don't know about you guys. Okay. Now I'll go back to the presentation. So yeah, that was build system integration in editor document. Oh, no, I didn't do it in editor documentation. Oh, nearly missed that. That would have been bad. All right. So, yeah. So the man pages, this is very nice for C programming specifically. The man pages are available for like most of the standard like C functions. And by default, Neovim provides you the man pages when you ask for them. So I'm over getenv. I want to see how they use it. I hover over it, press Shift K, opens up the man page immediately for me to start viewing, and now I can use this reference. The in-editor documentation is so nice. And like same goes for types. I want to find UID. Oh my god, jeez. Voice cracks. UIDT. Oh, maybe not in here. Let's find something that has a _T. Oh, maybe not. But yeah, I can go and use the man pages for any kind of standard function that's available in your man pages. So incredible in editor documentation. All right. Okay. Okay. Now we're at repeat actions. Okay, say I had this bunch of text that I just wanted to indent, but I want to indent it again. Well, do I have to go like re-highlight it and re-indent it? No. No. In Neovim, you just press period to redo the last action you did. So now, I haven't seen an equivalent in another editor. If there is, please correct me. Like, can you do this in VS Code? No. Huh? Yeah, maybe. But this is no plugins. This is zero configuration. Remember. All right, and then obviously you've seen the window management that's it's available in Vim as we saw with the debugger. But there's just it's very nice fine-grained control over your window management. So I can like just move to all the windows. I can like focus in only on one window. I can close windows. I can exchange windows. I can rotate windows. I can, whatever you want. It's probably got it. Next, file diffing. File diffing, so nice. I'm just gonna run these two commands to start to get a little setup to show file diffing. So I'm just gonna source these commands. So what it did was just create a new window with the same text pretty much, and I'm just gonna delete a bunch of random stuff. And now I want to diff these two files, so I can run diff this in that window, switch to the next window, and run diff this as well. And now I have file diffing. It's pretty great. It's pretty incredible. Come on, no configuration, only the pretty colors. And yeah. But say you don't want to run diff this in two windows, I can window diff off. I can just run a command for all windows. Very cool. Very cool. All right, where was I? See, I love ranting about Neovim. All right. So, okay, nearly done the in editor the zero config part. All right, now spell check. Neovim has built-in spell check, but you need to tell it what words you want it to use. So you have to specify your dictionary and then turn on spelling. So here I'm just going to run these two Vim script commands here to specify that I want to use this dictionary and I want to enable spelling. And immediately you can see it's underlined as a spelling mistake, and there's built-in commands for moving between spelling mistake and a bunch of other fine-grained commands for adding and specifically manipulating all of the spelling errors in your code base. But I don't want to be reminded of my spelling errors, so I'm going to disable it right now. Yeah, and now that we set our dictionary, we can pull in some insert mode completion and get some dictionary completion. Let's get I'm writing a word that starts with WH, and I complete from my dictionary. What's his name? I guess is a word. Yeah, and so now just so nice. I don't know about you, but I love this. But yeah. So very nice. And next, yes.
How smart is like this spelling? Is it like detecting what is the closest words to like the oil that you got?
It's not like fuzzy finding comparisons. It's just checking if it's in that dictionary. If it's not in that dictionary, it's spelt wrong. So that's why you have more fine-grained controls about. You can add it to like a list of like, no, this is spelled correctly. It's just not in the dictionary, and etc. And white space visualization. I swear everybody needs this, because I swear you guys keep littering your code with just trailing white spaces and tabs, mixing tabs and indenting, and it's painful. It's oh my god. So with Vim and Neovim, you can do set list, and here I specifically, I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is a tab here, but the rest are indented with spaces, but there's a tab. So now I always have this on, and then there's always then it might be hard to see from back there, but it's also showing all the trailing white space I have here. So having set list on, it enables all the white space visualization. It allows you to just immediately see when there's like a mixed match of tabs versus spaces indenting, or if you have trailing white space, and you can customize that exactly how you want. If you want all of these to show up in red, you can just do a little configuration. Yes, like pretty much like most of the stuff that I've been using that's been like Vim script commands will also be available in Vim as well. Also, retab, very nice command. So I see uneven spacing and tabbing, like there's tabs and spaces are intermixed. I hate it. I don't want to get rid of it. I just retab. Oh no, I need to set expand tab. Yeah, set expand tab, and I retab. And now I don't know if you saw, because it's way off in this little corner, but the tab got replaced with spaces. But no, I want to go back to having only tabs instead of spaces. I can set no expands tab to not expand tabs to spaces, and I can retab with a bang, and now all the spaces get replaced with tabs. These are technically three space indents, so that's why they're not actually expanded, but that's 4 spaces, so that got expanded. And all the white space got converted to tabs. Incredible fine-grained control.
What if you like mixed tabs and spaces? Can you?
Yeah. I mean, you're free to do whatever you want. I might live my life a little saner, but it's true. You're free to do whatever you want. Oh yes, and now I'm getting into some macro magic. But first, I want to set no list. Okay, so multi-cursors. I put multi-cursors here with a hat with an asterisk because Neovim doesn't support multi-cursors, but with visual control block mode, macros, and the global command, you don't need multiple cursors. All right, you don't need multiple cursors. To prove that to you, I'm gonna do some register and macro magic real quick. I recorded this macro here before, so it's all staged. And I'm just going to copy this macro, and now I'm going to rerun this macro. And what this macro is gonna do, it's gonna like, I programmatically wanted to reformat these tables a specific way, so I'm going to so I wrote this macro to do it, and now I'm gonna run it. So 14 at foreground. Oh my god! Accidentally exited my Docker. Don't know how. Where were we? We were at the macro. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm going to highlight this again, and 14 at Q. And so I just ran this macro that went and programmatically reformatted these 14 lines to, instead of being a table, to be a function call instead. So I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty powerful, pretty cool, pretty incredible. And didn't need multiple cursors to do it. But if I wanted to do it with multiple cursors, visual block mode has got you covered as well. Vim.set whatever. Vim.set whatever. Anyways, all right. So those were your features provided by Neovim with no config. All right, pretty cool. I'd say that's pretty featureful already. But now let's get to the language server features. So I previously explained what language server protocol was. Yeah, so all these very nice smart features like auto includes, call hierarchy, diagnostics, etc. All of these are typically provided by your language server. And but I do want to remind you, not all language servers are created equal. The example I'm going to show you is using Rust, because Rust's language server is like top of the line language server. It's very nice. So the language server is a separate application. So to configure it with Neovim, you need to make sure it's installed. It's on your path, so you can run a shell command to make sure that that's true. And then you just need to the config for it is fairly simple. It will get a little bit more complex, but it's fairly simple for now. You just have to say what program it is, what file types it's for, what's the root of the project. Then you need to enable it. I'm gonna add some nice diagnostic stuff, but then by default, Neovim doesn't assume what key bindings you want for what features. Like, it doesn't want to enforce a specific key binding for go to incoming calls or list all your workspace symbols or etc. and whatnot. So I also have this. This is just like a sample configuration that also just kind of sets all the ones that aren't set by default. So all the other functionality that's provided by Neovim. So I'm gonna highlight all of this config right here, and I'm going to just kind of source it. But since it's Lua, I use the Lua command instead of source. And now that is effectively the same thing as me having that code in my init.lua in my config. So now I can check if the LSP was properly configured with this check health vim.lsp, and I can see that there's no active LSP clients, but my config is enabled. That's good. We like that. Yeah. So, and I'm just gonna run this one command for for nice stuff. Okay, and I'm gonna jump into this Rust code base. And what I mean by Rust has one of the best language servers is now it's like come on. Check health vim.lsp. Okay. Yeah, it's connected. Okay. So I checked health again just to see that now that I'm in a Rust file, I wanted to see that my my Rust config is listed as an active client. So now, there we go. It was just taking a second to load. Okay. So the Rust analyzer is so nice because I can just hover over any word, and every single keyword you could think of immediately has like the hover documentation. So this is provided by the language server. The language server is literally like sending, like, my editor is saying, I'm at this location in this file, and I just asked for documentation. So it's telling the language server that, and then the language server is responding with this text here explaining it. And so and now you can go like what are all the things here? What did I have set? Okay, so now see this row is like all the key maps that call the specific functions to do something. So I can like press GD for go to definition, go to references, go to the type definition, go to the implementation, list all document symbols, go to incoming calls, outgoing calls, hover, signature, help. All of that is now readily available in my yeah. So I can go to definition, go to type definition. Doesn't have a type definition. Go to type definition. No, I don't know Rust. Go to definition, and I think I can also go to incoming calls. This is the only place it's getting called. By default, since I don't have any plugins, it's also using the same lists that I had mentioned before. It's using that to list all the incoming calls. Yeah, so incredible, so incredible. Yeah. So very language aware editing now that I'm able to do, and yeah. So that was it after minimal configuration. Sure, it looks a little intimidating. But that's only like 20 lines of code. You know, it's not that bad. You know, we're supposed to be good at reading code. Yeah. Okay. So for plugins, now we can get the rest of those functionalities with plugins. Neovim and Vim support plugins out of the box, and you can just kind of like just how I personally have been doing it recently in my Vim script rewrite of my config has been I've been cloning them as submodules in my Neovim config. But so Neovim has like a concept of a path, right? Like a runtime path. Like in Bash, you've got your $ path. In Vim and Neovim, it's your runtime path. And so here I've got this little bit of Vim script that'll just show all the paths in my runtime path. So we can see first it's my config, and then it'll look inside pack, the pack folder of my config. So this is where I was saying I clone my plugins there. And then also very interesting to note is that user share and Vim runtime is also readily available, because half of the functionality in Vim and Neovim, like if you look at the Neovim and Vim code bases, it's like half C, half Vim. So half of the functionality I've been demonstrating is provided by plugins that are distributed with Vim. It's like a part of Vim. They're just all kind of merged together. You're not being picky about like the Vim features or the C features or whatnot. And with Lua, it's kind of with Neovim, it's also the same with Lua. Some of the features are like a good portion of the features are implemented with with Lua plugins that are just in your user share and Vim runtime. And yeah, super cool. If you want to see what plugins you currently have running, you can use this command called script names. And here, like I said, most of the functionality provided by Vim and Neovim is just plugins inside your user share and Vim runtime. I've only sourced 2 plugins for this config for the pretty colors. This one here, Groovebox. I know it's pronounced Groovebox, but I always call it Groovebox. And then this tree sitter for other pretty highlighting. But the rest of it, all of these plugins just became distributed with Vim. Yeah, so typically it's very common for Neovim configs to rely on package managers because the kind of package management I just spoke about a second ago was kind of a later feature of Vim, so it wasn't so a lot of people got used to using package managers first or plugin managers first. The de facto one in the community is lazy.nvim. Packer nvim used to be really big, but if you go to Packer nvim repo, they're saying like this is deprecated, go use lazy. It's kind of the de facto. I have a mixed opinion about it, but I won't dive into it. I prefer to have a minimal config that doesn't rely on a lot of plugins. But oh my god, Jesus. But yeah, it's kind of the de facto, and it's called lazy because it has an emphasis on lazy loading your plugins so that it doesn't run a bunch of code immediately on startup, and it doesn't act like VS Code when you're starting VS Code. Yeah, must-have plugins. Some of the plugins I use constantly. The first one, Lazy Dev, is just kind of for nice Neovim aware Lua features. Undo tree is incredible. I don't have it in this config, but I don't think I have it in the other config either. But it's like pretty much, you know how when you're editing a file, you're editing it one place and editing it another place, and it's kind of a tree of edits, But using like Control-Z and Shift Control-Z, you're just moving across a line. You're not able to properly iterate over a tree. Neovim by default saves your edits into files. Same for Vim. Saves your edits in a file in a tree like structure, and this plugin allows you to have like a nice like UI for moving over your undos and your redos. So say that you like wrote something, undid it, and then wrote again. That first thing you wrote is gone typically in your editor. I know you guys have all done that, right? And been like, oh, I wish I had that thing that I undid and then redid. With Neovim, you can go back and get that. And Undo Tree is a really great plugin that allows you to visualize the tree. NVim LSP config. It's just like default configs for your LSP. Like here, we had to specify the language server, the file types, the root markers. You don't necessarily want to have to specify all of that, so NVim LSP config is just has those defaults for you, so it's pretty nice. I also contributed to it for the BitBake, so really happy about that. Comments.nvim is just smart commenting. Telescope is also extremely popular fuzzy finder. Typically, if you see like YouTubers like that are all like Neovim users, they constantly have these double windows popping up of like fuzzy finding and a window into the file that you're fuzzy finding. That's provided by Telescope. It was written by one of the contributors of Neovim. NVim tree sitter is what I have for pretty highlighting of code, but allows you to do a lot more and allows you to do like very special queries of like the abstract syntax tree of your code to be able to do like funky things. Like I've seen people using snippets to I don't know how to describe it properly, but very funky stuff. Then Vim Fugitive for Git integration. That's what I typically use, and that's kind of also a de facto source code integration for Git for Neovim. T-Pope is actually a very famous plugin author, Vim plugin author. He also wrote the Copilot, the Neovim plugin for GitHub for Microsoft or whatever. And then Code Companion, where you showed me Code Companion the other day, and super cool. So now I'm going to go into another kind of full-fledged config that is typically what you'd see normally in an editor, compared to like my very minimal config I've been showing you throughout this video presentation. All right, so yeah, like and subscribe, guys. Config. I based this one off Kickstart NVim. It's the same person that wrote Telescope NVim also wrote this kind of just like a default Lua config that just uses all the plugins everywhere, and so I'm just showing you a more common config that you'd see typically that has a lot of plugins. Yeah, so yeah, so you can get very nice completions and very nice colors. This also has a plugin called Witch Key, where if I press a what's a good one? If I press bigger, yeah. Okay. What's this one? I don't know what the key maps are mapped to, but what do I want to show? How do I trigger which key again? GQ. Okay. See, so if anytime Vim has a lot of like kind of keys that you can combine with other keys to build stuff. Which key is a plugin that kind of just lets you know, oh, you pressed a key that leads into other things. This is where it can lead, etc. I believe this setup also provided automatic formatting on write, but oh yes, this is what I want to show. It also has a very nice. Okay, I have to zoom out a little bit just for this. Also has a very nice like using LSP and like being able to point to all your errors and whatnot. And God, what does he use for telescope? Well, I'll try to find the key bindings for telescope because I want to show the standard telescope that you'd see everywhere. Search files. No. Oh yeah, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I have it mapped to other stuff, but so this is all often what you'll also see. You're able to like fuzzy find over a file and go to it. I have a lot of my LSP features I have open up in Telescope instead of the quick fix list or the lists I've been talking about, just because I think it's like a little prettier, you know. Yeah, and I also want to show Code Companion chat, because you know you gotta have your AI integration every day now. You know what I'm saying. Write me a hello world in Lua. Control S. So yeah, I think that's you know, shows a lot of features that people are typically expecting of their editor. Yeah. So I think I think that's my presentation.